Hi everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit today about stress and trauma and anxiety, things like that. I decided to write a book, and as I write this book, I'm going to do videos every now and again from the information I find out. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert, I'm not a scientist, I'm none of that. I'm just a person who has dealt with a lot of trauma, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of situations that come up, and my understanding of it things I do to cope, things I have done to cope. And I just want to share what I know, or what I understand, what I experience with you. Okay? So I know what it's like to feel all those negative emotions. I don't want anyone feeling that. I don't want you feeling that. I don't want, people, anybody to feel badly. So I'm going to tell you how my understanding, based on my experience. And remember, this is coming from someone that doesn't have any education in this area, right? It's just what works for me. Okay? I started this channel 5 months ago. It's 5 months now. And I started it because back in 2020, when the pandemic hit, the eggs were hard to find. We got some chickens. I had chickens when I was little, and I knew what to expect with chickens. I did research between the difference between chicken eggs and duck eggs, and I found out that nutrients that I specifically needed were more found in duck eggs. So we decided we were going to get some ducks. And the khaki Campbells, you see 3 of them: Donald, Daffy. I did it wrong. That's Daffy, that's Donald, and that's Daisy. And then Howard, who passed away last month from a genetic disorder. I call them the founding feathers. They're the first 4 ducks that I ever had. The day we got those ducks, my life changed. I did not realize domestic ducks are different than wild ducks, first off. When I would sit at the park, I have to make sure there's no ospreys. When I would sit at the park and watch the ducks, they would just do duck things like float in the water, sleep on the banks. I mean, I didn't realize the personalities that the ducks have. Daisy, Super girly duck. Really girly. Daffy? Daffy's our comedian. She'll even laugh. Like if I were to laugh, she would laugh. And she does weird mannerisms that she knows is funny. Donald is she's our first line of defense. She's always coming to everybody's defense. Alright? So I didn't realize that ducks have personalities like that. I didn't realize how complex their pecking order is. I didn't know that they would be so much like little children. Almost anything you can do with a little child, a duck would be interested. We have Easter egg hunts. They know to look for Easter eggs. Whenever I hide them, they know. They know there's veggies inside and to look around the garden for them. It takes longer than it does children, and sometimes they don't find them all straight away. They do throughout the day, but they're just filled with curiosity, and it just really made me realize that they're more than just birds that sit on the water, float around, and sleep on the side of the banks, right? Our birds listen to music. They love music. Their mood changes compared to the music that we play. When I put Cyndi Lauper on, they're having a fun time. They're splashing about. If I were to put something more soothing, like Michael Bolton or something, they'll relax and just lay down, and I don't know, they're just something else, okay? And I knew I've always wanted to share what they are with everybody, okay? I didn't know at the time exactly how to do that. But like I said, it took a while. I started this channel 5 months ago, and I don't usually talk in the videos. I'm not comfortable with my own. I have self-esteem issues. I'm working on it. Work in progress, right? I just put them on, and just, you know, because I didn't realize just how much mental health benefits watching these birds have. Even though I've experienced it myself, like, I find it relaxing. I find it enjoyable. I did research. I found out by watching birds or nature on the TV, whether it's a documentary or whether it's Benji's Clubhouse, it can enhance your mood. Viewing nature can elevate your mood and diminish negative feelings. Can lower stress. Experiencing nature through media can alleviate stress and aid recovery from illness. Can give you heightened awareness. They can boost your understanding about various species. Can give you a better attention span. Watching nature clips may enhance your focus and attention. You see, I didn't know all this. It can calm your nervous system. can help to relax you. It can boost your creativity. Maybe that's why my brain's all over the place and I have all these creative ideas. It can evoke joyful emotions that spark creativity. It can decrease depression and anxiety. People with a strong bond to nature often experience reduced levels of depression and anxiety. And it says here that some argue that virtual encounters with nature can be nearly as effective as actual outdoor experiences. So if you can't go outside, maybe it's raining, maybe it's 5 degrees outside. Who wants to go outside when it's, bitter cold or really hot? Watching it on TV or on YouTube, whatever, it's nearly as effective as being out there. Because the sounds of nature can be absorbed and contemplated creatively. Alright, I didn't know all that. I just made I have a quack therapy playlist in which it's just all nature sounds, birds playing, having fun, doing their ducky things, doing their goosey things. So what I plan on doing is that as I write this book, I'm going to go over other ways of reducing stress, other things you can do, free or low cost. I mean, it's all, a lot of it's just upstairs too. A lot of it is, like I've been diagnosed personally with a slew of things, like just, I don't know, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, like there's a lot more. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but what I have found out is my understanding in my case, even though mental health issues run in my family, in my situation, my experience is it is all how I react to certain situations, okay? And I've come to find out over the years that my reaction is what causes the worry. My reaction is what causes the fear or the anxiety or the stress to different situations, okay? Like, I don't know, like, last month, whenever I had the doctor's appointment, I was really worked up because I had that test and that test came back that I needed more tests. Something showed up on it. And I was messed up. Okay? I'm not gonna lie. I was down and sad and blue and just thinking the worst, right? I had to snap myself out of it. Well, how do you snap yourself out of something like that? Like, the issue's still there. There's a little squirrel. I don't think we can see it though. How do you snap yourself out of something like that? Well, I'm going to tell you what I did. I was messed up. Like I said, The second day, I was sick to my stomach over it. And I realized you gotta snap out of it. You're not any good to yourself. You're not any good to anybody else. You're not any good to the birds. You need to snap yourself out of it. So what I did was, instead of worrying, I basically, anytime a thought would creep into my head, I changed that thought. I changed it to, it's just routine, everything's fine. Okay? It's just routine, everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. If there is something to worry about, we'll worry about it when the time comes. Right now, you just gotta calm down. So, that's what I did. It took me a few weeks. I mean, it's a scary situation. So then, I made my appointment. 3 weeks later, I made my appointment for the follow-up test. 2 days after that, I get a certified letter in the mail. They paid $10 to send me the same letter that they had sent 3 weeks prior. And I was like, oh man, this is serious. Maybe it really is. And then those thoughts started creeping in. I'm like, where's that squirrel? Do you see him? There he is. He's hiding nuts. You see him? Oh jeez, he's funny. Oh, look at that floofy tail. And there he is hiding another nut. He's so funny. So anyways, I had to reprogram. I was like, no, you're not going to do this to yourself. You're not going to get yourself worked up. And so I looked at the date of the letter, and the date of the letter was actually like, I don't know if it was like the day before I made the appointment or 2 days before I made the appointment. But I figured, oh, they just didn't get the message that it was already out in the mail by the time I made the appointment. No big deal, right? So I went to the appointment and got the first test done. The technician said, all right, I'm going to show this to a doctor. Doctor's going to look at it. If he doesn't see anything concerning, then you can leave. But if he does, he's going to want you to have this other test done. And I'm like, all right, well, it's going to be fine. There ain't going to be nothing going on. So, I was sitting in the waiting room with a lady that was sitting there with tears in her eyes crying. Okay. We were just sitting there. I didn't really say anything, just real nice hi or whatever. And then all of a sudden the lady come back in and she goes, okay, he needs you to have another test done, a different test. And I was like, oh dang. But when she said that, I could feel like my emotions take over, right? That's an emotion to a situation, right? So I was scared, and I said, all right. And then she left the room, and the lady that was sitting in the waiting room, she looked at me and she goes, are you okay? And I said, I think so. And she was visibly had tears on her eyes and down her cheeks. And I realized this lady has a diagnosis. She's here for a reason. I don't have a diagnosis yet. And it could still be fine, right? So I comforted her. She needed it. It distracted me from what I was going through because she needed comfort. She was there alone and she needed comfort. So I held her hand. I said some uplifting things to her. I listened to her talk as she cried. And I was trying to be as supportive as I could. I mean, she's a stranger, but she needed someone. So the technician come in, she called me in, she was like, okay, you're going to meet up with this technician and at this other test room. So I went in there, had the other test done, and halfway through she was like, I'm just going to get the doctor and he can finish the test. And I was thinking to myself, what the heck does that mean? What are they seeing in there? And the other doctor comes in. There's that squirrel again. And he comes in, he does the test, and he found a cyst that I have to monitor, okay? But that's basically what happened. And my reactions, all the worry, all the fear, all the sadness, all the depression, all the anxious feelings I had, that was all a reaction to a situation. Situation out of my control, can't control it, can't do anything about it. Unknown at that time. Now, there are other health issues that I'm currently addressing, but with the right mindset and with this, replacing those negative comments with positive ones that get in my head, they are, I'll be able to get through that, right? And if not, then I'll just handle it when the time comes. I mean, I could just sit and mope and woe is me and this, that, and the other. I could do that, but that's really, negativity is really a bad place to be. I don't like feeling like that. Look at these girls. But, so anyways, that's my understanding, my experience. Yours may be different. Yours may be like, well, I have other things going on. I have, this or that. But if there's a way you can replace your negative self-talk and turn that into a positive self-talk, or even just a rational self-talk, like, it's out of my control, nothing I can do about it right now. That kind of talk. I'll deal with it once it gets worse or whatever. Or if it gets worse, or when the time comes. You know what I'm saying? Just say it like that. Because negativity is no place to be. If you're in a negative mindset, like I said before, it's no good to you. It's no good to people around you. It's no good for your pets. It's no good for... it's just no good. So... I'm going to continue this talk because I have a lot more to say. I've done a lot more research. And I think probably Probably I'm gonna do this once or twice a week. You let me know if you want it once or twice a week. Different ways to cope with things, different, different understandings about things. You let me know. But I think one of the first things I'm going to talk about is I don't know. I think I'm going to talk more about nature because that's free for everybody. God gave us this world. He gave us everything. I mean, the wind blowing, feel that on your cheeks. You know what I mean? Feel it go through your hair. The grass, the sky. I mean, that's stuff that we pass every day in our lives and take for granted. And we shouldn't, because they can, nature is amazing, and I have to see what they're getting into. I thought there might be an acorn here. I don't see one. Benji may have swallowed it already. If she does, that's no good. These girls sit on my coat. But nature's just amazing and has so many benefits. I mean, that's what I'll do is I'll talk about an exercise I learned. That's what I'll do next time. It's just like a mindfulness exercise. We'll talk a little bit about mindfulness too. Because when I was seeing the therapist would always say, do mindfulness. I don't know what that is. I never looked that up. I just figured that was, to be mindful of things. Well, there's a little bit more to it. So that's what I'll talk about next. But let me know if you want it every week or twice a week. You looking at my cheat sheet? That's my cheat sheet. That's it. Yeah. Alright, well, I hope this makes sense. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments if I did all right at this. I think I did all right. I'll see you next time.